Manchester United striker targets revealed. We know and we've known for the last 2 months that the priority signing in the summer will be a striker, but who could that signing be? We've also been linked to Semenyo. Now, Semenyo's an interesting player because he could play as a 10, he could play as a wing back. Now, interestingly, Semenyo, he brings intensity, physicality, which is what Ruben Amorim thinks is missing and could be one to watch. But Bournemouth may overprice him. We're going to also talk about another Manchester United star. Manchester United INEOS make the message clear, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Jadon Sancho is not welcome back, despite rumours, and have made that clear to him. Dougie Freedman leads Crystal Palace, so now there's some rumours of Manchester United getting Dougie Freedman, although he's set to go abroad. Bruno Fernandes, interesting stats on him, interesting stats on Anthony, and Hojlund speaks on form and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup, where we're going to round up all the news, as I said, in 10 minutes for you guys. So, let's start with the striker transfer news. So, it was said by Florian Plettenberg. Now, Florian Plettenberg is a good journalist. He does get exclusives, and when it comes to information around Bayern Munich and Germany is good, but he does love to just throw a lot of names at Manchester United, which I think in recent months brings his credibility down. But when it comes to saying a deal is done, he wouldn't say a deal is done unless a deal is done. So if he says a deal is done, you know you can believe him. But he does throw a lot of names at United, but he's got reliability behind him when it comes to Bundesliga, and he's linked us to 2 Bundesliga names. He said, Manchester United are closely monitoring Hugo Ekitike and Benjamin Sesko. So 2 players from the Bundesliga. I'm sure we're having a look at them. The question is Ekitike better in the front 2? Is Sesko another Hojlund in terms of inexperience, lack of service, has similar strengths and weaknesses to Hojlund? We've been linked to them. He also says that Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen remain high on the list as well. We are aware of that. I think you could add Mateta and Delap, and they would be the 6 strikers we've been most linked to. I think Jonathan David being available on a free is definitely one to watch. Now, Manchester United need a striker. I think Gyökeres would be my first pick. Osimhen would be my second pick. Sesko and Hugo Ekitike would definitely be improvements on Hojlund, but I'm a little bit more reserved about them. I think Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen would be higher on my list. And I think with strikers, we might not be in the Champions League next season. We don't know what we'll be next season. We might not have the pool. Certain players like Gyökeres will want to be in the Champions League. So I think, United have probably got a big list of strikers that they want, because they're going to go for some maybe bigger names, but might not get them. I'm sure Mateta and Delap are ones that we will also look at in the summer. And it's very obvious we want to sign a striker. Ornstein, Romano and Whitwell, the 3 most reliable Man United sources, have confirmed that. Florian Plettenberg, who again is a pretty decent source of information, has also confirmed that in terms of transfer news. Now, Dylan McBennett has actually given some transfer news on Semenyo, which does not surprise me at all. He said, Manchester United are among the clubs interested in Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. There could be one to watch this summer. Jason Wilcox is a big fan of Semenyo, and around 35 to 40 million is the price Semenyo will go for. I think for £30 million, which is about 35 million euros, Semenyo is a good deal. Premier League proven, good age, skillful. But he could play left wing back, right wing back, left 10, right 10. He would bring definitely some versatility, some power, some intensity. For me, better players than Semenyo out there, but I'm a big fan of Antoine Semenyo. I think he'd be a good player. I think he's got the physical attributes that we need, and I think he'd be hungry to make that step up and everything as well. I like Semenyo, definitely one to watch. I think Acuna, Semenyo and Gyökeres, all 3 of those to reinforce the attacking and the strengths on the wings would be phenomenal business in the summer. Don't think it would go to that extent of, I think we'd only get 2 attacking reinforcements, and Semenyo can play wing back, right wing back or right 10. But I'm a big fan of Semenyo. It would be for the right price though, because I do think there's better players out there than Semenyo. But I think Dylan McBennett is maybe onto something here, because I think he fits the kind of profile that United need. I think he's probably a Jason Wilcox signing, someone, a little gem there. I think United will look more inside the Premier League as well. This wouldn't surprise me. I think there was rumours last week as well that some big clubs are interested in Semenyo, and I'm sure that United, Tottenham, Newcastle, probably Liverpool are names on that list. So let's talk about the message that's been made clear to Sancho, that he's basically not welcome back. This is what Fabrizio Romano had to say. Manchester United have been clear. They do not want Jadon Sancho back in their squad. There's obviously been rumours and speculation that Chelsea may pay a fee to send Jadon Sancho back to United. Now, it's all rumours, it's all speculation, and I think if Chelsea did have that plan, it's not going to come out to the end of the season anyway. Now, lots of journalists have said that Chelsea's plan is to keep Sancho. Sancho wants to go to Chelsea. And Man United made it clear they don't want Sancho back. Sancho's also saying things like freedom. He's a freedom fighter now. Now, reports came out a couple of days ago that Man United made it very clear to Jadon Sancho they do not want him back in the squad, even though Erik ten Hag is no longer here. They want him at Chelsea. Jadon Sancho is on board with that. He's also happy to be at Chelsea and does not have plans to go back to United. Look, we could be in a situation where Chelsea send him back. If they are planning to send him back, we're not going to know that this early in the season. But Sancho's not wanted back at United, and Chelsea would have to pay a fee to not sign a player, which would still cost Chelsea money. So they might just sign him and look to sell him in the future. It could be a good option for depth. I suppose with Chelsea fans, and they said they like Sancho as a third choice winger for depth, but they need a better winger in their starting 11. And I think that's a fair assessment. So let's talk about Dougie Freedman. So Matt Law, very reliable journalist, said this. Dougie Freedman is expected to leave Crystal Palace with Ian Moody in the fray to succeed him. Palace and Moody have not commented yet. Obviously, we know Dougie Freedman for his incredible recruitment as Elise Wharton for 42 million from the Championship. We know the work that he does in the Championship. Fantastic recruitment. And I like Dougie Freedman. He was linked to us last year as a big INEOS target in recruitment. But we've got Jason Wilcox now. I think Dougie Freedman's great, but I think Dan Ashworth didn't work. And Dougie Freedman is not similar to Dan Ashworth in the sense of putting structures in. He's a bit more recruitment focused than Dan Ashworth. But I think he could clash with INEOS, as great as he is. But I would love Dougie Freedman at United, but I also have worries he could clash and it could be a Dan Ashworth situation. And there was a lot of rumours and reports saying, oh, maybe he's going to United, which I think was guesswork because Crystal Palace said this. The club confirmed that sporting director Dougie Freedman is leaving Crystal Palace to take up a role overseas. So despite some rumours going about that United are looking at Dougie Freedman, I think people were just making it up for clicks because they knew he was leaving Palace. Palace is saying he's looking at jobs overseas. So Man United, as far as I'm aware, isn't over the sea from Crystal Palace. So I don't know. Continuing on, I saw this from United District, and I thought it would be just an interesting thing to do in this video. Actually, I just realised my screen wasn't shared. When did I stop sharing my screen? Did I share that? That was shared. That was shared. That was shared. That was shared. Did I share? Cool. This is what I want to put on my screen here. Lenny Yoro, Joshua Xerxes, Matthijs de Ligt, Mazraoui, and Agate. I want you guys to let me know what you rate them down below if you want to. But I actually think this has been our best transfer window in a while. Last summer was Onana for 50 million, Mount 55 million, Hojlund 70 million. The summer before, 70 million Casemiro, 85 million Anthony. I actually look at this window and I actually think it was a good window. I know we're 14th or 13th. Are we 12th now? We might be 12th now. Yay. But I thought this was a good window, and I thought, like, rating them out of 10, I think Lenny Yoro, based on potential, is probably an 8 out of 10, so far a 7 out of 10. You know, he's improved, he's not played loads because of injuries, but I reckon it's a 7, 8 out of 10 signing. I'll give him a 7. Joshua Xerxes, 6.5 out of 10. Really, really grown the last few months, showing he's got a future, 36 million as well. De Ligt, probably 7.5, 8 out of 10, because how solid he's been the last 2 months. Good fee as well, experienced leader. Mazraoui for the price is like a 9 out of 10, but then maybe it goes down to an 8 because he's not a wing back, and in the back four it's a 9 out of 10. Maybe because of that situation it could go down. And Agate, I think, is a solid 7. You know, he's not the specialist, most technically brilliant player in the world, but he does the job. I actually think the players brought in this window were good, and I think it was a good transfer window. And I think that's the one thing of all the transfer windows, the best one's been under INEOS, and we know how important this transfer window coming up in the summer is for Amorim, and Wilcox will be heavily involved. And you know what? I trust Jason Wilcox for that. I wanted to dive into some other things. So this is a stat on Bruno. Bruno is the only player in the Premier League to make 60-plus tackles and 60-plus chances this season. He's been playing as a deeper midfielder, and you know he's been putting in a shift defensively, going forward, progressing the ball, scoring, creating. He's a phenomenal player, Bruno Fernandes. Absolutely world-class player that deserves more respect. Another stat for you guys. Anthony has created more chances from open play, 17, and more big chances, 6, than any other player since his Real Betis debut. Anthony's literally been one of the best players in the league since his Real Betis debut, you know, and we're talking Rafinha Ballon d'Or, Vinicius Ballon d'Or. I mean, but this is good. Rashford smashing it, Anthony smashing it. Their value is going to go up. We're going to be able to sell them. We're going to get more money in the summer to hopefully spend on improvements. And I say improvements because I don't want us buying in a player to replace Rashford and Anthony that is worse than Rashford and Anthony. Because I feel like we sold players in the past and we think we've replaced them with a better player and we haven't. You know, we got rid of Ronaldo, we got Weghorst, and then we got Hojlund. And I think Hojlund will be good in the future, but not to replace Ronaldo. Talking of Hojlund, he spoke on his role. Amorim wants me to stretch the pitch. I think that's quite obvious and get me into the channels and keeping the centre back occupied. That's what I'm trying to do. I think I've got a good amount of speed in, and that's what I'm here for. Rasmus Hojlund in the channels when he can run into space is a good player. It's just more his hold up in central areas isn't as good. He's quite good at running onto the ball. He's just not good with his back to goal, if that makes sense. And I think Amorim, one, wanted Gyökeres to do elements of that, and two, has probably recognised that's Hojlund's strength. And I think if Hojlund can grow in confidence and grow in skill, I think there could be a good player in Rasmus Hojlund. I think he might. He can't be our leading striker next season. We need an experienced striker to come in. Maybe he needs a loan. Maybe he needs a new environment. But I think Rasmus Hojlund is a player that could potentially suit Amorim Ball in the future. He's just going so many games without a goal, and you can't do that at United. But I do think there's a player there in Hojlund. I still believe there's a player in there in Hojlund, but we need a striker to lead the line. He can't lead the line for us next season. He's not good enough. I think he's got the attributes that Ruben Amorim will like in the future. Hojlund said, I can't sit here and say everything, but I think we're starting to get a bit more connection between myself and the players and starting to understand what my qualities are even more and playing to them as well. And developing and starting to understand their qualities, that's what the manager wants. He wants us to play to our strengths, and now we're starting to find each other better, which is a good comment from Hojlund. And Hojlund's saying he thinks he's growing more with the team, more of a connection with the team. They're going to start to find them more. And hopefully that's the case. I'm hoping that, Rasmus Hojlund, now he's scored that Premier League goal, maybe goes another 7 Premier League games in a row where he keeps scoring like he did last season after his first goal. He scored in 7 in a row. I really hope we see something like that from Rasmus Hojlund, because I want it to work for Rasmus Hojlund. Maybe he needs a loan in the summer. We need an actual striker to come in the summer. But I still believe he's so young. I don't want to write him off this early. I still believe there could be a player in Hojlund, and hopefully he gets back on track. Let me know your thoughts down below in the news. Thank you for watching. Bye.